Okay, so I am here today with Sean Freeman, the founder and CEO of TWT Group. So welcome, Sean.
Hi, Lisa. How you doing?
Pretty good. So I'd love to hear kind of right from the horse's mouth. Can you just tell us a little bit about TWT and what is TWT?
So TWT, we're a managed IT service company in Calgary. We exist to help small, medium businesses grow by making their technology easier and accessible and kind of help them, not hinder them. So.
Awesome. That's really great. And so I'm sure there are a lot of people in this space, in Calgary especially. So what makes you guys different than other IT companies?
I would say it's founded off our values. Those are relationships, innovation, do what's right, and freedom. So everything we do, we base around those. I mentioned relationships first because it's huge in our business. Everything we do, our clients have to trust us. They really need to know that we got their back and they just don't have to worry about their tech. And everybody, nowadays their business is their tech, right? If their data goes missing, then, they're out of business pretty quickly. So it's a big deal and we take it seriously.
That's awesome. And I know I have had just small doses of working with the TWT team, and it's always been a fantastic experience. I feel like I'm taken care of and that you guys actually really do care.
My team's awesome. That's the other piece too.
Totally. So I'd love to hear the story about how you got started in this business.
Yeah, I got started. We're going to be 6 years old in 7 days.
Oh.
October 11th is our birthday. I was actually working in oil and gas back then, and I just kind of got to the point in my career where I was like, okay, well, it's getting passed up by management positions and whatnot, and I just kind of said, okay, well, look, I'm good at what I do. People are asking me to do it in my free time if I can, so I'm just going to try it out. And so I had 2 jobs. I had a side hustle. I had my full-time job, and just kind of made it work and didn't have a lot of free time. And then it got to the point where I couldn't do both at the same time. And so I made the leap and went out on my own. And, it took me about 1.5 years to start hiring. And ever since then, that's been keeping me busy too, keeping employees coming in, because the momentum's been great and lots of referrals. Our business is all based on referrals. So that's been huge, just to be able to have people that really believe in us and they spread the word without us even asking. So
that makes sense. No, and I know that the importance of team and culture, and that's been a large focus for you as you've kind of grown your company. Could you tell us a little bit more about who your key players are and, how are they positively impacting TWT?
You mean our staff?
Yeah.
I think everybody on our team plays a key role. I did a count the other day. We're 10 people, including myself now, and that's going to grow. Ask me next year, we'll probably be 15 or more. So everybody plays a really important role. They wear a lot of hats. You mentioned already, our culture's huge. We're a really tight group, and we have a lot of fun. And I think that just really reflects in the work that we do. We meet quarterly, we meet annually, and we just talk about things that are working, things that aren't working, and we fix them. And it's really about that change and innovating. And we all have solid relationships so that we're able to say, this sucks. I hate when this happens. Let's fix it. This process doesn't work very well. And nobody really takes it badly. They kind of learn and move on, right? So. And then everybody's kind of relieved after. So I wouldn't say we have 1 or 2 or 3 key players. I would say everyone is amazing and in their own way, and they have the strengths. We've actually done the personality disc profiles, and kind of everybody knows their own communication styles and knows other people's as well. So they kind of know, if someone's being short with them, it's not because they're angry at them, it's because that's their style, right?
I can so appreciate that. We too have done that in our company, and it has made a huge difference just in how we interact as a team and how we communicate, and a lot of less hard feelings around, you're right, if somebody's personality style is to be short.
Understanding each other and having the empathy and just knowing that, they're probably not doing it to be malicious. It's just who they are. And because of that, they have other strengths that you like, right? So.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the culture itself that you have been trying to build within your organization? I know that somebody had mentioned to me, and clarify if this is wrong, that you had an unlimited vacation policy. Is that correct?
We do. We still have that. We haven't gotten rid of that. I also have what's called a no babysitting rule. I kind of have set the precedent that I don't want to babysit anybody, and I know they don't want me to babysit them, right? So that's clear. And if that ever changes or becomes a requirement, then something's going on, and we'll fix it. And we have. So with unlimited vacation, it's that work hard, play hard. We're all adults. We all have lives. We all want to do things with our families or just take vacation. But I've really found like nobody's ever abused it. It's almost the opposite, where it almost gives them other freedoms. Like if they don't need to save their 2 weeks vacation to use around like long weekends and take the most advantage, and then everyone wants to do that. And those are problems that people with a limited vacation have. Whereas us, it's like, well, if somebody wants to go skiing on a Wednesday because just dumped the day before, and they're caught up on their stuff and there's no big projects, well, they just do it. They just go. The other thing that we found is a lot of people, and they've got family in Edmonton or Vancouver, they'll go there and they'll do what's called a workation. They'll work a bit, but they'll still be away, and they'll still have that flexibility, and they won't have to eat into their full-blown vacation time at all, right? So it's really worked out good. And I think just setting the precedent that we're all adults and we all know what our job is key to making that work.
Totally. That makes a ton of sense. I like that model a lot. And then what about when you're talking about culture and kind of integrating your values, and you highlighted the relationship piece, how do you feel that your culture is really living your values? Is there anything there that we might be able to take away as a learning point?
Yeah, I think, values are, somebody else told me, actually Michelle Berg, she told me that there's a few rules around values. If you're not willing to fire somebody over them, if you didn't have to work another day in your life, say you won the lottery, if you still wouldn't live that value, then they're probably not real values. They're probably just like, they sound good for marketing material values. Whereas like we've gone through that process and vetted them out and really nailed them down. And like relationships is huge. Freedom is huge. Obviously our culture, our vacation, innovation that's our space. So we need to keep on top of new things, and then do what's right. Obviously, it's kind of a no-brainer for us. And we really, even if we're taking a client on or looking at a prospect, we look at them and say, like, if they're asking something that we wouldn't normally do, or that might interrupt our ability to have freedom, or maybe it's not right, or it's not innovative. They want us to like support their Windows 95 computer. We're probably going to turn them away, right? Because that's just not productive for us as a company and doesn't really serve our goals. So
that makes sense. Love it. To circle back to key players for a second, if we were to look at people that have positively impacted you personally, opposed to just key members on your team, I know that I hope this is okay to say, that you work with a coach. I do too, so there's no shame in that. But are there other key players, your coach included, that are really helping shape you as a leader?
Oh yeah, there's like so many people that come into your life and they teach you something, or they keep teaching you things, and you just don't expect it. Like, you sign up for a business coach and you're like, I want to work on these things. I want to make this better. I want to get this knowledge, help me. There's more of a process, but then there's all the other relationships you have that you're not expecting things like that, but you learn a ton. And I think I read a book by Keith Ferenzi called like Never Eat Alone. And it's kind of around that idea, like if you meet people and just sit down with them over food or a drink, you'll learn so much, and they'll throw out ideas and just get your brain thinking. That is just so natural. And there's a few people out there that are just like, every time you sit down with them for coffee, it's like you learn 10 things and you're like amazed, right? And he's not a coach, but then on the flip side, coaches are amazing. I wouldn't give up mine. I also have an EO peer group that I'm in, which is amazing too. I think it's really just dedicating the time to work on your business, not in your business, but also on yourself, and not forget about yourself too, because that's huge. I think back to the unlimited vacation policy, I take quite a bit myself, and so I'm away, and I look at it both ways. I'd like to get away and spend some time to refresh and learn other things at conferences, like I was just at last week. But also it's like the ultimate form of like proving your delegation works because if you can go away and not even have to prepare your team, not have to worry about when you get back, or not have to babysit them, and just know everything's taken care of, well, you basically achieve the unlimited vacation, mastery, and you've delegated everything you need to, right? But on the flip side too, you also learn the things that you need to get somebody else to do and fix, which is perfect because you can't do that when you're just busy doing them.
Totally. Makes sense.
So I think, like if I had to name some names, I would say there's been a lot of books that I've read. Keith Brezzi, Gary Vaynerchuk. I met him and asked him a question, and he changed my perspective quite a bit, and that's been amazing. Vince Fowler's my business coach in Calgary. He's awesome. And then my whole EO group is great. Other really close friends too, like Quan Lee at McCrally. Just different perspectives, and I think you just learn so much from them all. Yeah. And you make it your own. You put it all together and turn it into your own product.
This is true. I think we're always learning, and if you're not learning, there's something wrong, right?
Otherwise, you can get out under your rock and go out into the world, right?
This is very true. So looking back kind of over your journey of starting TWT, what would you say was either the biggest obstacle that you've had to overcome or your biggest aha moment?
My biggest obstacle, like to be completely honest and completely cliche, was probably myself. Just figuring out like, when's the right time to hire? Am I ready to take that risk? How am I going to manage them? And just figuring out that timing, because it's, you get your first client, you get your third client, you get your eighth client, like you get that momentum. And the same thing I found once I started hiring people is it just scaled, right? We just focused on doing good work. I think I was very lucky just hiring a lot of really good people at the beginning. And even now we continue to have really good luck there. Not that we haven't let anybody go, but it's just kind of making sure that you make those decisions and getting out of your own way and figuring out whatever information you need to like kind of ease your mind about making those decisions. But I would say like if you're busy and you're working 12-hour days and your revenue is good and it's increasing and your clients are happy and you're profitable, you should probably start hiring. You shouldn't wait any longer. Ask for help because what's the worst case? You let them go because you don't have enough work. Very similar question to when I was leaving my business or my previous company. I said, what's the worst that can happen? I get another job. And, so just figuring out that and then getting out of your own way and saying, look, like you only live once and let's go for it. So, but that also doesn't stop. I'm still in that situation where it's like, there's so much going on and need to get out of my own way every day.
Makes sense. I've always admired that about you, that it's kind of what's the worst that can happen? Let's try it. And if it doesn't work out, we'll figure it out. And not a lot of people can do that. So kudos.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are there things that you do on either weekly basis, daily basis, monthly, quarterly, whatever that might look like, that kind of are either a regimen or something that you follow that helps push you forward?
Yeah, I make sure that I work out. There was a time that was like kind of like a roller coaster. I'd be on a really good streak, working out a few times a week, and then next week I wouldn't be, and the week after that I get back on it. And I've really actually found that I actually have a thing in my calendar Wednesday afternoon to book my workouts for the following week. And so like I make sure I do it, and I take care of myself. I knock on wood, I haven't had a cold in I can't remember when. So it's just taking care of yourself first, because if you can do that, and we work long hours, like I may not start working till 10 a.m., but I'd probably work till 1 a.m. a lot of nights, right? So, and like, to be completely honest, I probably don't work all those hours, but like when I get in my flow and get into like, hey, I want to work, or I want to do this, I need to do this. That's when I work. I don't work my 9 to 5. So I take care of myself first, number one. And I've really kind of systemized that almost, right? Like the rest of my business, not all of it, but trying to systemize things in your business and, creating those recurring things that just keep your habits on track. Because I don't know what the quote is, but it's something about, your habits create your future wealth and self, right? So it's really focusing on that stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Definitely self-care is important, and we forget that as business owners.
Yeah, it is.
For sure. So this one's a bit out of left field, but what's your proudest moment? Is there something that you look at and go, man, I just can't believe that I did that? Proudest moment in business?
I would say my proudest moment, I've got a couple. So number one, I went to Vancouver for an entire week, didn't tell my team, and they didn't know I was there. So I just left town and they had no idea I was gone.
Awesome.
So that was pretty sweet. I think that was about a year and a bit ago I did that. That was pretty cool. Number two is when I paid more GST than I made in my last salary job.
Wow, that's fantastic. Love it.
Some pretty cool things.
That is very cool. So if you were kind of looking back, is there anything that you might have done differently, or if somebody is starting up in your industry, advice that you would give to that person to say, hey, don't do that because I made that mistake?
The mistakes are just a part of it, right? Like, I think one thing I did really well is I just asked questions, things I didn't understand. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't come from an accounting background. I'm totally tech, so I didn't know like accruals and didn't know like GST, and didn't know how to even invoice people. What's payment? How do you do payment? So just asking people. And I think nowadays there's so many people starting a business. There's so many simple tools out there that are all new tech apps and stuff that are out there that can make your life so much easier. But then just understanding like why you do things, to the point, like, I think a lot of people get into entrepreneurship and they almost like are ignorant to those things. And they're like, oh, it's not a big deal. My account will figure that out. But then it's like, no, you've actually spent all your money and you owe $10,000 in GST. That's your fault. That's not your accountant's fault. Yeah. So it's just ask the questions. Like, if you don't know, if you're not 100% sure, just ask. And ask anyone. And keep asking until you're kind of confident in the answer.
Totally.
And it's just like, I worked with some people in my early days and I'm like, why don't I have my numbers? Like, I've got numbers from like 4 months ago. Like, why can't I get my last month numbers? And it just doesn't make sense. And now I have my last week numbers. So sometimes it's not about, like, you don't know. It's like, people are, maybe not doing the best work for you.
Totally.
And again, it's up to you to figure that out, right?
Absolutely. And the importance of understanding your numbers is
huge.
Huge. So.
Yeah, and the money in your bank might not actually be your money.
It's so true.
For the government, and you should know that, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Couldn't agree with that advice more. So I'd love to hear finally, where are you guys headed in the future? I know you have big plans and dreams, but is there anything that you can kind of share with us?
I was just furniture shopping this morning. We're taking a bit more office space where we are. So we're growing, we're adding people. We'll probably hire another 2 people by the end of the year. We're up for the Chamber's Breakout Business Award. So cross my fingers, I won't be there. But hopefully somebody prints a cardboard cutout of me or something. And I can be there with the team. The team can accept it. And we're like I said earlier, I think in about a year, we'll probably have another 50% staff growth. I told somebody this at lunch, actually, like 2 hours ago. I said, like, if you're not a business owner right now, never mind any of the tax stuff going on, but the economy is like going full bore. People are back at it. And if you're not a business owner, like, hey, I need to go and sell, I need to grow, I need to market, I need to find new clients. If you're not doing that right now, then you should think about doing that right now, because in 3 years, you might have missed the train. So that's what we're doing. We're chasing new business, but at the same time, we're focusing on our current relationships and making sure all our clients are happy, because it's cheaper to maintain your existing clients than to find new ones.
Amen to that. Fantastic. Well, thank you for taking the time to share with us today.
Yeah, thank you.
Always great.